not going to be many people showing up here right on the live edition, but we'll be watching this a little later on. Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm John Davies. And of course, it has been quite some time since we last spoke, has it not been? So pardon me while I look at some of my notes. A few things to say here and a lot to really. But first of all, thank you very much again for joining me. It has been quite some time since we last spoke. I suspect, what, two and a half, 3 years, certainly. Certainly the events of, those early 2020s. I made a decision to go offline. There was a lot of problems at that stage online. We had a lot of, shall we say, censorship issues regarding events of that first quarter of 2020, and certainly my comments online made it difficult to really post commentary freely and openly. So let's move past that whole nonsense of censorship and come back to really what the here and now, what we're doing. First of all, it's a pleasure to offer these again, and I will be doing these for a special run, and it's something for what I think very special and what I think a very important situation to consider, in particular in this time. My video series, originally started in November of 2019. It was as I was to begin developing really a new trading operation in New York. I was ready to open up a new desk in Tribeca, and it was an exciting time, and I was really, quite honestly, of course, I was looking forward to it. It really was going to be a momentous situation, but events in the world certainly changed in the first quarter of 2020 and certainly shifted things, made it very problematic, and was certainly my commentary, made it even more difficult to operate online. But let's, again, moving past that, the intention of it at all times was to help teach people how to invest in the future, provide themselves an enormous amount of peace of mind portfolio insurance. I think that is a very important thing, peace of mind portfolio management. And really teach them the theories that I developed nearly 44 years ago, not quite 44 years ago, on selling option theories, volatility premium capture theories. But again, things changed in 2020, and as I said at that time, and as I slowly disbanded this presentation and turned it private to a wonderful group of people on Telegram, more about those in a little bit, that normal, whatever we consider normal, would not return at least to 2025. And I even question if there is such a thing as a normal today. But here we are on the cusp of 2025, and it's time to make a stand, say some things important. I'm 63 years of age now, and I see a lot of issues right now, in my opinion, in the financial world, and I don't really think people are being served proper. I know there's a lot of good people trying to assist, but it just doesn't seem to resonate. So I want to go back, and I want to go back to say the things that, in my opinion, need to be said. Very important things. Now, as always, my goals here, it's not to sell anything. I'm not selling anything. I'm not pitching anything. I'm just trying to keep to my notes here and make sure that I serve you, the people. We, the people, need to be served, don't we? In all matters. And it always goes back to a very simple thing that I thought of many years ago. I learned from my father. I'm not here to sell you anything, but I will give more than I take. Something very important. Now, again, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up to your attention and restart this series, well, first of all, let's be quite honest. This market is terribly susceptible at this moment. It's extremely susceptible to an extraordinary pullback. But first of all, when you think of what we've been doing, and the last 5 years of this group, again, this November we celebrate 5 years, we've had an enormous track record of success. It really has been one win after another. We have put together week after week after week of highly disciplined, detailed trading approaches, investment approaches that have given people, I think, a peace of mind, and also propelled their lives forward, as far as financially speaking, allowed them to do the things they want to do and build that financial legacy and hopefully that stronghold for let's say when problems arise, but allows them to go through life with a lot of financial confidence. And I think there's a lot more to it than that, learning things that go beyond that and go beyond that. But we've got this proven track record of success online, and heck, that goes back 40 plus years. But there's a lot of things that go deeper into this because the market is a difficult beast. And right now, here we stand in the final month of Q3 of 2024, a quarter that, in essence, I began talking of remarkably when I think of this back in 1986 when I first projected a debt bomb going off as my generation reached our retirement in 2025. And I always said that third quarter is going to be the big problem zone. And as I look on this final stretch run of this quarter, the always tumultuous Q3, I see a lot of people nervous, afraid, terrified. Maybe they're starting to understand that the market, the investment world, they've gotten lax, lazy, and maybe undisciplined, or maybe simply fortune has fallen their way, but they realize that it's not going to fall their way always. They fail to understand, let's say, that the investment world is a blood sport. This is our Serengeti, and it's a place where you either dine or you be dinner. Dine or you be dinner, pardon me. Dine or be dinner, or you are the hunter or the hunted. Something that I've told people always. They seem to forget some of the basic rules. Always navigate understanding risk. Manage risk, or risk will manage you. And the very standard approach of sell into buying frenzies and to buy into those selling storms. But again, this is where we are, and this is where I stand, and this is what I do. And of course, you're asking, but why now? And I suppose that's a very good question. Why now? Again, this market is extremely susceptible to an enormous pullback. And I warrant there's some people online right now, experts in the financial industry, that are trying to warn people of this possible tsunami coming, this economic tsunami coming. And all too often it seems like a selling pitch. I know that. I see it all the time myself. But the public just doesn't hear. And the public is the one, we the people, the investing world, the retail investor are the ones that will be slaughtered lamb as this market pulls back. So it's susceptible. Some are saying this, some are warning of this, but no one's really hearing enough, listening enough. So I see that. And for that matter, I also don't see the public. Right? I don't see any evidence of the public understanding the market, this great wave that just keeps circling the world and keeps going back and forth, up and down, rising and falling. The slings and arrows of the market with rising markets and with falling markets, there are great opportunities. And in very much so, at least again, this is part of my opinion. As I said, I developed more than 40 years ago. As you all know, volatility is your friend. I firmly believe that the greatest opportunity, believe it or not, really lay in a down market. For many reasons, that includes tax implications and whatnot, but for the long game investor. And I want to remind people, for those who are just getting to know me and through this video that will get to know me, that I am an investor. I'm not a flipper. The best investments are the investments that you never sell. And I have a number of investments that I will never sell, and I will probably continue adding to positions of investing on where I will never sell, using, again, my selling option theories, where we capture volatility premium. But again, why? Why are we doing this? You have to ask, why are we doing this now? Well, now more than ever, I think we are very close, perilously close, to an economic free fall, a collapse per se, even just, if that's an appropriate way to call it. Again, back in 1986, I hypothesized as a young man that in 2025, as my generation, that first generation of Gen X by Strauss-Howe, by their terms, would be going into retirement into 2025, we would see a debt bomb. It's perilously close to that right now. And I question when we will become, in essence, a zombie nation, where our interest expense is materially greater than our tax revenue. That might be within 10 years, maybe even sooner. It's incredibly terrifying, really, when you think of it. And we're watching currency debasement in real time, every year, month after month, year after year. It's shocking how we watch the quality of life really erode. And probably even more shocking is when you realize the percentage of American households that are invested in, say, for instance, in the general markets, maybe through index funds, and they fail to understand how this market, from a broadest of terms, might be prone, and I certainly believe this is prone if we look at really all markets revert to mean, the old adage, and one that stands true. And whether or not you look at that or you consider, say, the classic Buffett indicator, and we look at the Wilshire 5000, prone to a correction in the magnitude of some 2/3. This is an economic tsunami that can destroy generations, not even an era, but once in a century. I've been warning of that. I've been warning that for quite some time, including, of course, as you all know, many of you know, how I've been talking to people of the threat of war, as I've been telling people. Read The Guns of August. I told people 4 years ago, read The Guns of August, and watch how this is all lining up. So I want everyone to be prepared, and I'm prepared to do this segment, and there will be no selling pitches. Again, through this upcoming video series that will last approximately a month, at least that's what I'm planning right now, to hope to teach everyone here to avoid that problem of just wealth destruction, to preserve wealth, to preserve your family financial legacy, but also greatly profit from the coming events. And then possibly the most important part of this turn is to invest wisely in the future, and invest wisely in the future of America, the greatest investment one can make. Now, how we're going to do this is probably the fun tale. See, in the past, and for those who have been along this journey for the last few years, you know that I have went on places, we traveled the world. That beautiful bride of mine, we traveled the world and seen many different places. Some of you saw us in our private group broadcast from beautiful Beirut and its outskirts. Wonderful time that we had there. Or in a place that we can affectionately call a home away from home. I guess we could say that. In the Baja of Mexico, a place that I really adore so much. And of course, our return home to Southern California. But in this coming weeks, we're going to do something a little different. Rather than just simply broadcast from different locations, we're going to be taking the slow road home. It's been 5 long years. It's time to go home. It's time to, help rebuild, our communities. So what we're going to do in the coming week, as this year that I like to refer as our year of exile, our year of, part of my sense of humor, our year of living dangerously comes to a conclusion. I and my beautiful bride, we are going to take that slow road home. A slow road home to Southern California. We're going to travel the country, travel it from sea to shining sea, taking that slow road, meeting with investors, big or small alike, whatever it might be, from those little small towns, wherever they might be, to maybe the big cities. And yes, I hope I see many of you on Friday nights and Saturday afternoons in some of our favorite games. But I want to teach everyone theories that will allow them to have great confidence in the future. Show them that there's opportunity is everywhere. Give them, as opposed to the constant barrage of pessimism and division that our political leaders so sadly tend to emphasize. I want to teach them how they can invest with confidence using selling option theories, but most importantly, and again, I'm going back to that, use it to invest wisely in the future of America for our children, our grandchildren's sake. Now our trip, America the Beautiful, from sea to shining sea, begins very shortly. And we've got a lot of things that are going to happen through this, and a lot of it is going to be ad hoc. There's not going to be any great planning. We are literally going on one divide of the freeway and looking west and going and deciding where we journey, meeting people, shaking hands, enjoying cups of coffee with each one of you, hopefully. And we'll be taking that starts next week, around this time next week, maybe on Friday, and we're going to take really the month to take care of that before we make our way home. But before we conclude tonight, I want to say a special thank you to this wonderful group of ours online, this outstanding team that began really from the steps of the Fed 5 years ago this November. A motley crew of wonderful people, like-minded individuals in many a way, but in other ways we bring together a collection of thoughts and ideas from all over the country, and in fact, all over the world. Again, a motley crew, wonderful group. Our hunting party, if you don't mind, we all have always affectionately turned to that. And we came together and we've had an extraordinary time and really developed as a team, as a group, as a family. And I hope through this series I'll be able to help many of you, and I'm blessed to have the chance to work with them. I'm embarrassed to say mentor, but I hope I'm humbled by the opportunity to mentor and foster their and of course your growth. As always, I remain committed to that notion that my father taught me: give more than you take. And as always, I look forward to next week. I'm John Davies. I urge you to join me through this. And I also remind you, as I've said many a time, be the hunter, not the hunted. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, and I'll talk with you shortly. Take care. Bye-bye.